going to, we're gonna break with tradition here and change our schedule around just a hair. So for all of you who just got excited that you were next, you're not.
Just a test.
Thank you all.
See you later. We're gonna do the, we're gonna hear HP 17-07 DCBY Properties for a certificate of appropriateness. Welcome, Mr. Herskowitz. Would you state your name and your address for the record, please?
David Herskowitz, 7921 Williston Road, Williston.
Welcome again. All right.
So this is a request for a certificate of appropriateness. This is for the former restaurant property across the street from our location right now, 7921 Williston Road. The owner applicant is proposing to change the use on the interior of the building from a restaurant back into a single-family home, retaining the existing upstairs apartment as an accessory to the single-family home. So we have a pending administrative permit related to that does not cross the threshold for DRB or historic review. But coming along with that project, the applicant's proposing to add some windows to the addition to the rear of the building. So you can see those windows. They're proposed either as there's a single sort of transom window, and then 3 windows with a 6/1 simulated divided light pattern. It's a metal clad wood window, and those are proposed in that contemporary addition and renovated portion of the space to make it work as a residential property again. This did receive review from the Historic and Architectural Advisory Committee. They agreed with the staff recommendation for a condition that materials be used as proposed and windows be placed as shown on the plan. They did also recommend that the applicant prepare a slightly clearer plan of those windows to show to you folks tonight, and that's what you have in front of you that I just passed out.
Hi, you got the high-tech version?
Nice.
Huh?
Nice.
I added the label that says proposed new windows in the poor handwriting, so please don't hold that against the applicant.
And that's nice too, man.
Thank you. It's on the fridge when I get home. So that's the entire proposal. Those are the only exterior changes to the building. There, you should be aware there's a change of use happening to the site as well, but nothing about that goes to a level where DRB review is required.
Is there a size description of the windows?
They're 3 by 5. Don't you have your 1/8 scale? They're the minimal that you need for the egress for the bedroom windows, the larger ones, and the other ones for a bathroom in the middle. So that's just I think I made it 2.5 by 4. But I think for egress right now, they're requiring a 3 by 5. I forget what the square footage is that they require, but whatever the minimum is, that's what they are.
And the little flat window is for what?
There's a room upstairs, it's an office right now with a bath, and I'm adding a shower. That'll be the 3rd bedroom, so it needs a window up there for some light. It matches the other windows that are existing right now. There's a knee wall there.
That's the transom window shown here?
The one above, yeah. It looks just like the other ones that are existing already.
Yep.
For light.
Is there an egress? There is a second floor in that back section?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an office
Is there
there.
an egress? You're putting a bedroom up there?
Yeah.
So is there an
I
egress?
have a window there.
Is there an egress window
I'm
off
putting
the
a
back
window
peak?
there. Sorry?
Is there an egress window off the back peak? Is that where it is?
No, on the back there, that's a fire-rated stairwell. It
Oh,
connects.
that's how it gets out?
It
So
connects the
where's egress
3rd
window
floor.
From that upstairs bedroom?
Pardon?
Where's the egress window from the upstairs bedroom?
There's a window there now. I need to enlarge. I didn't show that on there because there's nowhere to show it, but there's an existing window right there on the end, on the south-facing.
Where?
See where the roof comes up from the barn? Yeah, right there. On that peak, there's a smaller window that I have to replace.
There's a window there already.
Yeah. It's just too small, so I gotta replace it.
So how far above the floor is that little ribbon window?
The one I was just talking about?
No, the new one. I mean, it only looks like it's about, it's like it's right,
You said it's in a knee wall?
Yeah, there's a 4-foot knee wall there. When I built the,
probably taking this too literally, this drawing.
You are.
yeah.
So the tops of those other windows are actually lower. They're not up at the ceiling.
Yeah,
And the new one's not sitting on top of the floor.
there's it's a, what is it? An 8-foot ceiling, floor to ceiling. It'll be, 44 inches off the floor, and that'll be 5 feet up or whatever it is.
So looking at this drawing, are these windows gonna be more or less at the same elevation as these over here?
Correct, exact
This is
same,
the same
pretty much the
floor height?
same. Well, yeah, actually, well, the original windows are from
It is, 'cause you walk into that
1842, so I
restaurant,
don't
you
know how far off the floor they are. But these have to be, I think it's 44 inches.
Maximum,
Huh?
maximum.
Yeah, the architect, he gave me that number, I think
That's
it's,
a basic code.
yeah, whatever the code is.
Yeah, I mean, these windows are gonna be sitting right on top of that stone wall, I suspect.
Well, we built we built a whole brand-new basement under there. And that's cultured stone on the outside, so I think I brought that up. If you walk through the back entrance, you actually have to walk up a flight of, there's 6 stairs to get to that first floor from the back. The grade drops considerably. So you're under that first floor a bit there.
As long as it's required to be built to code, so you
I
kind of,
understand that.
right, so you,
Scale is a good.
scale is,
Yeah,
Scale is a
so-
good thing from an architect.
scale's a good thing for anybody.
It's not gonna look the way you drew it when you're all done.
Hopefully look a little better, a little neater.
Other questions, guys?
No.
No.
I don't understand why we couldn't have it to scale drawing.
Not required.
I know, but it's just,
Actually, if you have an eighth, I did it with an architect scale, so it is an eighth to an inch, so it's,
The windows are the right size.
I thought I made them.
They probably are. They're just up too high.
So I doubled it or something, but they should be about the same size as the other windows, aren't they?
yeah.
They may look funny, but they're about right.
What are the windows? Where are you buying them from?
Either Marvin
What's
or-
the product?
Either Marvin, which I had used on the front, or from the overhead door guys, I got a quote from them too, so one or the other, they're gonna be.
A vinyl clad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these are tucked right up against some trees there, right?
Tucked against what?
Aren't these, this is the back of the building, there's some trees right there between.
It's all trees, but yeah, I have some photos, I think Matt had some, you can't even see the side of the building right now. Nobody's gonna see it.
Yeah, we tried a Google Street View, which was a leaf-off fall view, and there was still really significant screening on this side of the building, so.
You have to be standing on the brick walkway next to the church to even see any of that side, pretty much.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? No audience. Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for squeezing me in, I appreciate it.
Yep. We're gonna close HP 17-07 DCBY Properties at 7:43. Next up is DP 17-24 Casella Waste Management. Okay, gentlemen, welcome. If you would both state your names and your addresses, please.
Joe Gay, 220 Avenue B.
Doug Henson, 14 Morse Drive, Essex.
Welcome.
This is a request for a discretionary permit to expand existing impervious area on the site to allow for the outdoor storage and stockpiling of construction and demolition material and the processing of that material with a mobile crushing unit. And we are at 1496 Redmond Road in the Industrial Zoning District East, essentially at the bottom of Redmond Road where it runs into the railroad tracks and then the Winooski River in the north part of town. This is the first time this particular proposal's been reviewed by the DRB. A pre-application review for this was not required due to the scale of the project. There has been previous development on the site reviewed both as a subdivision under DP 1612 by the DRB, as well as a master sign plan for the signage on the site more recently. The applicant is proposing this project in order to maintain and possibly expand the existing use on the site, which is a facility that processes construction waste and other types of waste materials. Waste management and remediation services, which are identified in the North America Industry Classification System as number 562, is a listed allowed use in the Industrial Zoning District East in the Williston Unified Development Bylaw, Chapter 35. There are no new structures proposed as a part of this project. There is new site work, and as you can see on the site plan in gray, it's an expansion of that gravel area and a reworking of the berm around it to make a level surface back there. There's no new outdoor lighting proposed as part of this application. In terms of setbacks and landscaping, the setback distances are fairly great, and the entire site as proposed remains surrounded by well more than the required 50 feet of existing wooded vegetation. In terms of outdoor storage, I am suggesting in the staff report that this is for the purpose of outdoor storage and that material will be kept there from time to time, only to note that outdoor storage is something that can only be approved by the DRB as part of an approved site plan, which is the request you have in front of you right now. There are some wetlands and waterways present on the site. The applicant is proposing that they will maintain required setbacks to the class 2 and 3 wetlands on the site, and they can show you those. Access remains unchanged. The new area is accessed from the area that's currently being used today, and all of it's off of the same existing driveway on Redmond Road. Any traffic impact fees related to this expansion can be assessed by the zoning administrator at the time of administrative permit. There is not a traffic study required for this project. Staff does not believe the project generates an additional demand for parking. There are no changes to signage. The applicant is proposing to comply with the current stormwater management rules, and the site plan does show existing and any proposed utilities. We did receive review from police and fire, Public Works. We had no comments from the police department on this. Fire department comments are essentially related to building marking and mailbox labeling on the site for 911 addressing purposes. And Public Works comments are asking a few questions about the expansion in the impervious cover on the site, and that the site is getting close to 3 acres, which will have some relevance as the rules about stormwater change. As we always do, we've put in addressing of Public Works and Fire comments and prior review of final plans by those two departments as a prerequisite condition to our signing off on final plans. And that's what I have. Staff is recommending approval with findings of fact, conclusions of law, and conditions of approval. The conditions of approval as drafted by staff are all standard conditions in this case, just referencing the dates of those two memos from our commenting departments.
Thank you. Gentlemen, what do you want to add to that?
I think that historically this facility, before we owned it, was a municipal solid waste transfer station, like the one we have on Avenue B. They were very similar in nature. We've since just over a year ago acquired this site. We now own it. And we're transforming that facility to a more of a recycling facility. the solid waste is still getting transferred on Avenue B, and this facility is becoming more of a recycling facility, so we want to expand that use by being able to take the asphalt, bricks, and concrete. I think it was referred to as construction and demolition, but really, it's asphalt, bricks, and concrete that would get processed out, bless you, that would get processed out back, and that's what's being proposed. So it's an expansion of the recycling efforts that we want to undertake there at the site.
So how do you, big expanse of impervious surface, lots of material coming in from off-site, recycling. How do you manage the stormwater on that site? What happens? What's the process?
Well, right now, the way it's graded, and presume that the stormwater rules change the way we anticipate they are, the site will sheet flow towards the railroad tracks, and there'll be a pond/wet swale down there. So any sediment should settle out in that, and then we'll be allowed to overflow out of that. Because it's clay soil, and as you found from the first application tonight, there won't be any infiltration in there, or very minimal. So anything that the water, after the sediment has settled out, the water will be allowed to flow over the berm and down into the railroad track ditch.
We are also subject to the state of Vermont stormwater discharge permit as well.
Right. This site currently is covered under what's called a no exposure certification, because currently everything is within that transfer station building. Obviously, that will no longer be the case. So we will have to amend, no matter what happens with the rules, we will be amending our state stormwater permit for the site to that. But this is all acceptable to the stormwater section. And we have had correspondence, we actually have a permit number because it's already pending.
Questions?
No.
Dave?
I wanted to follow up on that, because there's a staff comment about the pending 3-acre requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And what difference does that make? I mean, how do we come up with 2.995? That seems like a convenient number. And how do you intend to ensure that the impervious area when you're finished is only 2.995 and not 3.004?
By design and control and construction.
Oversight of the contractor carefully.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, the 3-acre rule may actually be overcome by the fact that more than 1.5 acres of the current impervious is already being treated. So that kind of cuts that 3 acres in half. It's what the 3-acre rule is if you're creating 3 acres of impervious surface that you can't treat with the methods we are. So our stormwater treatment system will comply with the rules all the way around. That's always one of those things, is it, are you creating 0.997 acres of impervious? I understand the doubt.
I just wonder, I mean, I don't know who calculated that. And
Right, well, our office did, to the neat line of what's supposed to be constructed. And we, in conjunction with Casella, will have to monitor that during construction to make sure that it does not exceed.
And you
It's in-
confirm
it's
that in an as-built type of situation afterwards?
Yeah, it's in Casella's interest to not exceed that, because the fines that can come out of the stormwater program hurt more than complying with it.
We're used to this type of thing. We have to build the landfills to the square foot, and we have to be able to as-built that and demonstrate that and keep the waste contained and so forth. So it's not something we're not used to. And, we could periodically, double check the limits, by survey if we needed to.
if I can just throw one.
Yeah, please.
We would prefer you not call it an as-built. We would prefer you not call it an as-built, but a record drawing. It seems picky, but from an insurance standpoint, as-built means you were there every second when there was a machine running. Record drawn means we've gone back after it was done, and so that's, as I say, it's a picky thing, but it's one that,
I only get asked for as-built, I don't get asked for record drawings.
our professional liability company would beg to differ, but nonetheless.
How frequent is the mobile unit coming and going from this facility?
It's gonna vary. It's really hard to know, at
Is
this
this a mobile
point.
unit that you own, or is this a contractor?
We would have a contractor come in. We would third-party that effort. And it really depends on what the market is for waste concrete and asphalt bricks. If there's a demo job, if there's natural disaster, if there, I think it's gonna vary. I suspect it'll be a couple times a year, and it would be in the warmer times.
So like wintertime, more than likely won't be there, so you'll just be stockpiling that time?
Okay. Anything else? Any questions from the audience? No questions from the audience. I'm asking that a lot, I'm not getting much response. Any other questions from the board?
Thank you for coming, gentlemen.
Thank you for your time.
We're gonna close DP 17-24, Casella Waste Management Transfer Facility Improvement at 7:55. Okay, next up is DP 17-25, REM Development Company with a master sign plan. Welcome. Oh, name and address.
Nick Smith, Lamoureux and Dickinson, 14 Morris Drive, Essex.
Great. Mr. Boulanger.
Okay. This is a request for a discretionary permit. It's for a new master sign plan at 368 Avenue D. Gosh, it's just in the location. For that. It's in the industrial zoning district west. There is some proposed new signage that is part of this master sign plan. There's a number of reasons someone might need a master sign plan under Williston's bylaw. One of the main ones is when somebody has a building with, or that could contain multiple tenants. That is in fact the case for this site. The applicant is proposing wall and window signs as well as freestanding signs. So in terms of the wall signs, the maximum normal allowed size for an individual wall sign is 24 square feet. The wall signs that are existing or proposed are anywhere between 2 and 18 square feet each. There is one 6 square foot window sign that is proposed, and 3 other window signs at 3 square feet each proposed. And those are limited primarily by the coverage of the window they're applied to, limited to 20%. There's also an existing freestanding sign on the site. Freestanding signs are allowed in this district at up to 32 square feet. The existing sign is 24. It's a relatively small building when you calculate the theoretical maximum amount of signage on the site. So the street-facing building elevation gets you 2,354 square feet. 8% of that is specified by our bylaw, renders 188.4 square feet of signage, and the proposed sign area total is 188, so just under that theoretical maximum. There was only one facade of the building used to make the calculation. In terms of other sign types, there's no temporary or portable or banner signs proposed as part of this proposal. Because of the complying sizes of the signs, there are no special findings required for the DRB to approve this master sign plan. In other words, it's assumed that if the signs meet those maximums, that they're in keeping with the town plan and the spirit of the bylaw. I will note, we had a fire department comment. We had recently asked the fire department, given that there were no structures proposed, did they want to keep seeing applications for master sign plans? And they said, yeah, we labeling and utility cutoff and shut off signage. So they had provided a memo asking for that. Emailed me and said, gosh, all those signs the fire department wants, that's a bunch more area. Do we need to adjust? And I said, no, all of the signs that the fire department wants are under 2 square feet each and can be counted as directional signs, and by the direction of our bylaw, do not have to count toward the sign total. So the applicant can have what they've proposed. They can meet the requirements the fire department has for all of that site labeling and still be within their 8%, even though the total area theoretically would go above that. So I have prepared recommended findings of fact, conclusions of law, and conditions of approval for this master sign plan for the board to consider, and that's all I've got.
What would you like to add?
He did better than I could do, so.
That's the right answer. Any questions from the board? No. Nope. Thank you for coming. We're gonna close DP 17-25, 38 Avenue D Master Sign Plan at 8 o'clock.